Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a little woodworking beginners buying tips and some what I would call hidden gems from Harbor Freight. If you're interested in seeing what I got today, I thought I'd show you maybe not the top 5, but 5 items I would recommend if you're into woodworking. If you're like me and on a budget, some of the things that might help you do a little easier woodworking in your shop, some tools to make things more efficient. So first off, these are 5 items from Harbor Freight. Is what we're going to go with. And the first and foremost, and I'm sure you've seen lots of videos on these, are these F-style clamps. Now these things you can get them, you know, pretty cheap, $3, $4, $5 a piece, and they range anywhere from I'm pretty sure maybe a 4 or a 6-inch clamp all the way up to about a 4 feet clamp. I know they got a 3 feet. I can't remember if they got to 4 feet or not. But anyway, these are very, very sturdy, very nice made, especially for the price. Like I said, start out cheap. Anyway, just say you're gluing up 2 pieces of wood. They move in and out very easily. Hold a lot of pressure. And so that thing's not going there, especially once you get the glue on there and let it set up. Same way on the larger ones. That's a good secure hold. Okay, so the second thing I'm going to recommend, it's these little Countersink bits. Now I'm pretty sure these come in a pack of 3. And for how good they do, they're a great little tool. I think the 3-pack maybe, I don't know, $10. But if you've ever messed with wood, especially something like pine, and you're driving a screw in it, if you do that without pre-drilling, odds are this may not do it, but and that one didn't. So that one would be fine. But a lot of times in pine, you're going to get cracks, splinters, if you don't countersink. And this makes that very easy and very clean. You see the hole it created? And that's probably a little bigger than I needed to be, but you get the idea as far as the screw and how it's countersunk. Now, if you wanted, you could always take a dowel plug, stick it in there and flush cut it. You never know it's there. Okay, so the next tool we're going to talk about, or it's kind of, I'm going to say 2 tools in one, because you can actually buy this saw right here and get the same thing I'm talking about here. This is just a miniature flush trim saw. This one you can do dovetails or cross cuts, anything you want to do with that. And just a quick example. I'm going to share with you in this kind of a 2 saw for 1 deal. This is just a small flush trim. And like I said, you can do the same thing with this. It's just a little larger. You can use the small one. If that's kind of your preference, and this does work good for this kind of thing, and you can just easily cut right through that. Of course, you can see tore up the wood a little bit. You can always put blue tape on that, or even on this to raise it up just a hair. But once you put a sander across that, you'll, you know, that'll be so flush, no gaps and all that kind of stuff, and it'll blend right in. Okay, for our next tool, there's a good possibility you're gonna, when you're doing woodworking, you're gonna need squares, or it's a very good possibility. And there are lots of brands out there to find. You can, you know, go some of these squares that cost you upwards of $100 to $200. But you know, this 3-pack at Harbor Freight, they're aluminum, so they're probably not the most sturdy compared to maybe a cast iron one and that kind of stuff. But I can tell you that at least the ones I've got, they are accurate. I've checked that with with my other, you know, higher end squares, and they do seem to hold a straight edge. And just as simple as anything, you can literally make just a cross cut and see how accurate that line is. And one way you can check for square too is to make that mark and then flip it over and line it back up and see how straight your marks are. And that one's pretty doggone straight. And as a bonus tip, this did not come from Harbor Freight, but a good idea when you're getting into woodworking. Regular pencils do fine, but lead pencils have such a fine tip on them, it makes it much easier to get down in here and get a much more accurate mark. Pencil generally has a bigger thickness, and so that's definitely a plus if you want to step into one of those. And last but certainly not least, if you do wood turning, or even just some in general woodworking and you need a circle, this is a large compass from Harbor Freight, of course. They do make these in smaller ones. I do have smaller ones. This is the one I wanted to point out, especially if you are doing wood turning. My small one will not make a circle this large. And so this thing does just what it says. It's a large circle compass. And this one, I'm marking out a bowl blank. As you can see, that does a great job. And this particular one, it's almost 11 inches, but this thing, I'm pretty sure, does, that is sitting right about 17 inches. So if you double that as being a circle, that would be around 34-inch circle, way bigger than my other one. And before we get to the end here, another little hidden gem. This is not essential to woodworking, but it does help to have it. And Harbor Freight sells these as just a bench brush. At the end of the day, when you're cleaning things up, it makes it handier to do that. Just clean off all the dust. Of course, you can see mine's covered with glue and stain and that kind of stuff, but it makes it to where you don't have dust sitting around everywhere. Okay guys, so I hope you liked that video. Hopefully this maybe influenced you a little bit to go out and buy some of these tools if you're getting into woodworking. As always, I thank you for liking, subscribing. If there's any other things you want to see on there, give me a comment down below. Until then, I'll see you next time.